Hello, I'm Dan Rather, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online Edition. Just ahead, a day of pageantry and patriotism. We'll give you all the highlights of President Bush's big day and his speech. Also, he surprised many, but an ailing Chief Justice Rehnquist performed his ceremonial role. We have exclusive pictures and the story of a young soldier who lost his leg in Iraq. But that didn't stop him from attending the inaugural festivities. He'll tell you why. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online Edition. It's party time in this city. Inaugural balls tonight all over town in honor of George W. Bush, sworn in today to his second and final term as President of the United States. It was a day of pageantry, prayers, and celebration here in the Capitol, not just for Mr. Bush, but for the entire nation. A celebration of American freedom and democracy under tight post-9/11 security. We have extensive coverage, beginning with CBS News Chief White House correspondent John Roberts.
I, George Walker Bush.
President George W. Bush took the oath of office on the west side of the U.S. Capitol in front of a massive crowd on the National Mall.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The ailing Chief Justice of the Supreme Court administered the oath shortly before noon. His hand on the Bush family Bible, George Bush became just the 16th president in the history of the United States to be sworn into his second full term. Mr. Bush appeared comfortable and confident. He addressed the nation with an almost missionary zeal about spreading freedom to the darkest corners of the world.
There is only one force of history that can break the reign of hatred and resentment and expose the pretensions of tyrants and reward the hopes of the decent and tolerant, and that is the force of human freedom.
The inaugural address was packed with broad, sweeping language. Never once did he mention Afghanistan or Iraq directly. But the president did appear to have skeptics of his foreign policy in mind, offering this assurance for his second term.
America will not impose our own style of government on the unwilling.
But politics on this day has a way of taking a backseat to this distinctly American ritual, steeped in tradition and pageantry.
What a nice welcome.
It's a tradition the Bush family has come to know particularly well in recent years. 3 of the last 5 presidential inaugurations have featured a Bush. And today, despite an approval rating that is the lowest for a second-term president in half a century, the president and his family appeared to revel in the moment. The pageantry spilled out onto the east front of the Capitol, a salute to the troops, a prominent part of this week of Republican revelry. Then it was into the motorcade for the 1.7-mile trip up Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House. Some small groups of protesters along the way voicing their displeasure at 4 more years, but mostly party faithful who waited hours in the cold for a glimpse of their re-anointed leader. This is a president with a parade of big ideas for his second term and tough challenges ahead to meet his goals. After this day of celebration, the hard work begins.
And he has very little time to get it all done. President Bush himself says he has to move quickly before, in his words, people kind of write me off. Dan?
John Roberts reporting live from the White House. More now about one of the standout pictures of this inauguration day, the oath of office. It was the first time Chief Justice William Rehnquist was seen in public since he revealed he is battling cancer. There's much speculation about who might be nominated to replace him when he retires. CBS's Jim Stewart reports on Chief Justice Rehnquist and his determination to show a strong Constitution today.
The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, the Honorable William H. Rehnquist.
He was the last to arrive and the first to leave, but that little smile said it all. I'm still here, folks. Don't count me out yet. 80 years old and suffering from thyroid cancer, Chief Justice Rehnquist showed up and did his duty again. For the 5th straight time, he swore in a president.
So help me God. So help me God.
Congratulations.
Some doctors and many court observers had speculated Rehnquist wouldn't have the strength or the will to show up today. But there he was this morning, gingerly making his way through the snow to one more inauguration. He skipped the traditional breakfast with his colleagues who greeted him with small pats on the back. And despite the limp in his walk and the rasp in his voice, the Chief Justice seemed to enjoy himself. But his future on the court, however, seems painfully uncertain. Since disclosing his cancer last October, he has missed 34 arguments altogether. He first promised to be back in November, but could not do it. Then he missed the annual Christmas party he cherished, and just 2 weeks ago, it was announced he would miss the start of the January arguments. But he eagerly accepted the White House invitation last month to administer the oath of office, and President Bush today made it clear he was grateful.
I want you to know how touched I was that Chief Justice came to administer the oath. That was an incredibly moving part of the ceremony.
And he shows no signs of giving up. He's already written 2 opinions this term. He has a strong staff. That's his chief of staff, Sally Ryder, next to him. And lest anyone doubt it, he said recently, "I still have a vote, and I'll still cast it." Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
And there were some in the crowd who also endured a great deal just to be here to watch this inauguration. In the President's inaugural speech and on the streets and in the ballrooms, the men and women of the U.S. military and their sacrifices were front and center this day. CBS's Wyatt Andrews has the story of one man who considered it his honor to be present here despite his sacrifice.
Out in the crowd, listening to his commander-in-chief, was a young Army officer, Lieutenant Jeffrey Adams, a soldier who lost his left leg in Iraq, a soldier who told us it was his privilege to be here.
Why have you so looked forward to this?
For this once-in-a-lifetime experience for me. You know, to me, not just as a soldier, but just as an American, to see this.
A platoon leader in the Louisiana National Guard, Adams' journey took him from Baton Rouge to Baghdad. He was on patrol there, checking some debris, when it exploded.
And next thing I know, boom, I'm on the ground. And I'm looking around, just kind of dazed, look down, and my leg wasn't there. I'm on the ground just feeling around, looking at my leg, trying to move, looking over there at the Humvee with the soldiers on it, and it was surreal. It really was. This is my leg.
Just yesterday, we watched as Lieutenant Adams tried his newly fitted prosthetic leg. In the fight to regain his mobility, this was his inauguration.
I feel like I could just keep walking straight out of the bars. But I know that I'm going to bust my rear end.
It was here at Walter Reed Hospital that he heard of an extra ticket to the inauguration. Adams wanted that ticket, and the donor, New Jersey businessman Fred Sebeli, wanted to give it to a soldier like Adams.
Because someone has to say thanks to these people, more than just take care of them physically.
What's most striking is why Lieutenant Adams so wanted to be here. He sees this moment, when the people hand power to the president, as the reason he went to Iraq.
This is, we fight to have this freedom, for the ability for us to have elections. And because I fought for it, now I get to see it happen, and I'm honored.
He's a reminder of who exactly we are sending to Iraq. A young officer grateful for this ritual of democracy that he helped provide at such a price. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Washington.
More stories are just a click away, but be sure to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Friday's broadcast, shouldn't you or any mechanic be able to fix your car? Well, you can't do it unless you get the computer codes. We'll tell you why that's often difficult in the Friday Consumer Alert investigation about the code. For CBSNews.com, I'm Dan Rather.